For this demonstration, we are going to assemble our paper strip sculptures. In the last session, we made the base for our paper strip sculptures. It should have your name on the inside of it. If it doesn't, you can rewrite your name on the bar right here. Mr. Lundgren. And your teacher's name, 1 Boris. Or whoever your class is. Okay? Whether it's Miss McCullough's class or whatnot. Anyways, you're going to take your paper base and you're going to lay it down flat, and we're going to take this opportunity to glue all of our pieces together. Now, the idea is you're going to want all of your pieces glued together, so some are on top, some are on the side, some are next to each other, but the basic thing we want to make sure we do is we have it so that it's solid, so it's not flopping over to one side or the other, and so that it's not super tall and unstable. We want these to be nice and stable. So we're going to start by gluing down a few of our pieces. Now, another part of this is we've talked before about positive shapes. That's where the solid part of the paper is, and we talked about the negative shapes. Those are the shapes that you can see all the way through, and there's like the clear empty shape right here that is inside of there. So we want some nice positive shapes, we want some nice negative shapes, we want it to look interesting from all directions, all sides. Now, with this, you're going to actually start to use a regular glue bottle. It's an orange top glue bottle. The orange top glue bottles you've all, I'm sure, used before, and what you have to do is the orange piece unscrews like that and leaves a little hole, and no matter how, you don't need to tap it anymore, you just squeeze on it. The reason why we're using this is because you're going to have to put glue on the top of your shapes, and you don't want to be smushing your shapes down. But when you're done, you need to screw these tops back on so it doesn't dry out. Okay, and you also have to be careful not to make a complete gluey mess all over the place. So we're going to start by gluing down our first shape, and I'm going to glue down this cube. I'm going to glue it down kind of out on the edge here. I'm going to turn it like that. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add another shape right next to it. And why do we have to add one right next to it? Because it needs to have some more structure. Because if we're going to glue things on top of this structure, we're going to need to have these two pieces solidly connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, I'm going to put it on the bottom. Then I'm going to put a little bit right here on this side, and I'm going to pinch these two pieces together so that they are glued together. So I'm going to take my cube and I'm going to hold my sphere down on the black surface, and I'm going to glue my red cube and my purple sphere together. Okay, so you can kind of see how that's done there. You can see the little space between these two where they're getting glued together, and then you can look right underneath here where the purple one is getting glued to the black base. Okay, now I've got to I'm going to fill the last little spot down here, and I'm going to take this purple rectangle. Actually, I'm going to take the red rectangle. No, I'm going to take my yellow rectangle. Changing my mind, sorry. And I'm going to glue my yellow rectangle right here. Okay, and I'm going to have it laying down flat. So I'm going to have the yellow part here glued down to the black base, and I'm going to have this edge right there glued to my purple sphere. So I'm going to glue it like this. I'm going to hold my purple sphere, and I'm going to hold this part down here at the base. So you can see how if I tilt this, you can see where the black piece is getting glued together, and if I tilt it that way, you can see where the purple sphere is getting glued to it. And we want to glue these together. Why? Because they're going to give us a more stable sculpture. If we glue those pieces together, it'll kind of lock them all together, and they'll be really nice and stable rather than floppy and boingy all over the place. So there's my first 3 pieces. Now I'm going to kind of continue, okay? And I want to continue I'm going to continue by taking this purple, I'll take my purple one and I'm going to rest it like that. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to glue this flat edge to my yellow rectangle and glue this edge up to my red cube. Now, you guys are going to decorate and design your own sculptures based on what you think looks interesting or cool. I'm doing mine this way just because, but you again can choose how you want yours to look. Now I'm gluing my purple rectangle to my yellow rectangle here, and I'm gluing my purple rectangle to my red cube right there. Okay, so you can see how I'm starting to layer these on top of each other, so it's going to look interesting from all different sides. Okay, I'm going to take my next one and I'm going to put my yellow tetrahedron right here on top. And remember, you don't need a lot of glue. Dot, dot, not a lot. Or you can think of bunny hops. Some people like bunny hops. That's how I used to teach it before I found tap and glue bottles. Okay, so there's my tetrahedron on that side. And I'm gonna see, let's see, what if we do a, maybe if we do a cube. There we go, let's do this cube like this. Let's see if we can get, well, let's use a sphere. There we go, let's do our sphere right here. So we're going to glue the bottom of this sphere to the tetrahedron there, and we'll glue the bottom of the sphere there to the sphere and to the edge of the tetrahedron. So notice how each shape I'm doing, I'm gluing 2 shapes to each shape. So they're all really interconnected. Okay, so there's my sphere. And at this point I'm kind of running out of shapes, but I want to have this, there we go, I'm going to glue this one here so that the rectangle and the other rectangle, the blue, or the yellow rectangle is glued and the purple rectangle is glued. And this is kind of, this is tricky. You got to use your fingers and kind of slide your fingers in and out and kind of hold the shapes together carefully and thoughtfully so that they stick before you move on to the next one. Okay, so there's my other rectangle. You know what I should really do? I should put some glue underneath there and glue it to the base. Come on, Mr. Lundgren. Put some glue right underneath there. You can see it. I'm going to just slide it down because it's not very dry yet. Just going to slide it down a bit and get that glued to the base. So it's got 3 attachment points. There we go. It's 3 attached points. Now I'm going to take my other tetrahedron, maybe my purple one. I'm going to glue it to both of those pieces, to my purple rectangle and my red rectangle. It's going to have 2 attachment points there. And my last couple here are going to be tricky. Trying to get these to look right. I'm going to have to glue this one only to this one rectangle here because I don't have any other thing to glue it to. Kind of like that. Okay, and my last tetrahedron, I just might end up gluing it down here. I guess I could glue it like up here on top, but then that might be kind of awkward and unbalanced. So I think I'll glue it down on the bottom. Maybe I'll glue it right to the side like that. That kind of looks cool. So I think I'll glue it over here to the side. A little glue on the bottom there, and I'm going to hold it right up here onto my red cube. So it's kind of pointing out the edge. Like that. So my finished sculpture looks something like that from the top. Looks kind of crazy from the top. Looks like this from the side. Okay, and so from this side, you can kind of see there's some negative shapes, like right in here. There's a nice negative shape. There's some negative shapes right up in here and over in here. All right, and if I turn this model as we go, you can see the colors are kind of evenly set out, so they're not like all red on one side, all purple on one side. They're kind of evenly placed. Then I've got my two emphasis colors kind of evenly placed too. They're not like right next to each other. So this is pretty hard part of the assignment because you have to decide how you're going to glue all the pieces together. You want it to be stable and solid, and you want all the colors kind of evenly placed so it's not like too color heavy to one side or the other. So there's my final finished sculpture, and that's kind of what we're going for our final product.